Recollections May Vary, a royal recap. I'm Kinsey Schofield and back by popular demand. Looking nice and fresh from a little trip, I might say. Maureen Callahan, I missed you. Every time there's a big royal story, you and our friend from Southern Charm are my first text.
I know, it's great. I never miss a minute. I mean, I think, was it yesterday you texted me? It was like, I know you're in the UK. I'm on the East Coast, so it was like Super Bowl Sunday madness all day, but Meghan Markle managed to pierce through somehow.
Well, Donald Trump doesn't bite his tongue. Let's talk about what Trump said really quickly before we get into. We have a huge list of things to discuss. But the Daily Beast suggests that Donald Trump is using Meghan, as a way to divert from the fact that he did say that he would not protect Prince Harry if there were issues with his immigration status, if he lied on his papers for entry. I just thought that was Donald Trump being Donald Trump. I didn't feel like there was anything sinister going on, any bigger plot. What do you say about that?
I mean, are you referencing the comment he made over the weekend
Yeah,
about,
she's terrible.
so this was amazing. And again, like if you think Donald Trump cannot cross the aisle, this comment alone is proof that he can. When he was asked whether he would open Harry's visa file and look into deporting him if he lied on his application about a little drug dabbling, what have you, he said, "I'm not going to do that. Harry's got enough problems. His wife is terrible." I mean, a beautiful encapsulation of the problem. Why add to this guy's miseries?
Yeah, exactly. We also heard Eric Trump say right before the election that he didn't think that his dad would deport Harry because he said nobody cares about Harry. And I thought I keep stressing that when people ask me, "Oh, do you think he's going to get deported?" I'm like, Eric Trump told us no one cares. I think that was code for we don't care. I mean, I think nobody cares, but I also felt like that was code for the Trumps don't care. Yeah, we'll talk about it if you ask about it, but look at the way that Trump has just plowed through the first month of his presidency. He has an agenda. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are just not on that agenda.
Remember in his first term, he also commented on Harry and Meghan Markle. What did he say? I could never forget it because I thought it was so funny, and here I am forgetting it.
Was it the time he said she was nasty?
He said she was nasty, but he also said something. It was something along the lines of he's got his hands full,
Yeah, yeah, very
you
much
know,
so. Yeah.
with this one, and I'm not going to add to his woes. Similarly, I also think it's a very smart play because let's say he did deport Harry. I mean, it elevates Harry, right, to a real national issue, which he's
Martyr.
not.
Martyr and victim.
Martyr and victim. And then where is he going to go? He's going to become the royal family's problem again. And I
Mhm.
think Trump is such a monarchist and an admirer of the royals that he would never do that to them. So he's happy to let them languish out in Montecito.
Did you know that Melania and the king have been pen pals for years? Isn't that so cute?
I had no idea.
Isn't that so cute? I just imagine them, dear diary, but sitting at the table writing each other. Melania talks about it in her book. But yes, to your point,
That's so
why would
funny.
Trump jeopardize that relationship that they clearly have by hurting, no matter what anybody says, hurting Harry hurts the king. And Donald
Agreed.
Trump is not going to hurt the king, no matter how Prince Harry got into this country. But question for you: are you still curious as to whether or not he lied on his visa application? Would you still like that information? And if he did lie, do you think that that's something that we might actually see revealed under the Trump administration because it was the Biden administration that fought so fiercely to keep that information private?
Kinsey, honestly, I'm only interested in actual mysteries. I don't think there's any mystery about what's in that file. Harry's not that deep. He probably has a drug history. He lied about it. Not that big of a deal. I don't care. JFK files, I could talk to you about that all day long. But what's in Harry's little thin visa filing? This underemployed middle-aged man who's just flailing about from failure to failure. I don't think it's a deep dive into what's in there.
Did you see hours after President Trump's comments, Prince Harry said on the Invictus stage during the opening speech, he was talking about weak moral character, and some people are saying that that's Prince Harry trying to lash out at Donald Trump. To which I'd say, I've seen you in a Nazi costume. Might want to sit this one out. Do you think that that was a swipe at Trump, weak moral character? Why are you talking about weak moral character? You're there to hype up a bunch of athletes.
Oh yeah, I absolutely think that was. And I think it's him and Meghan they're still sort of in this like it's like Harrison Ford at the end of The Empire Strikes Back. They're like frozen in the amber of their wokeness and their decaying relevance. And I think that Trump really metaphorically shivs Harry every time he praises William as such a fine young man and what a great king and a great leader he's going to be. That hits Harry where it hurts. Now, Harry is sort of trying to punch up and engage Trump in some sort of war of words. That's never going to happen. What really struck me about the Invictus statements was Meghan taking the stage, saying, I wasn't planning to speak, but here she was speaking, dressed for the occasion, going on and on about what this means to Harry as if he can't speak for himself, going on and on about what a great husband and father he is. There is a piece of this speech in which she talks about him making sandwiches for their toddlers. He makes
Martyr.
lunch and he packs it for them. And I'm like, you're talking to a bunch of men and women who lost limbs in war. This does not, like, it's not a gold star for the Duke who's learned how to, like, slice some Sammys up for his kids. Like, have a sense of proportion. She never, ever learns, ever.
No, she really doesn't. It's amazing that they are just so completely clueless. Well, speaking of that, I sent you this story, definitely sent you this story yesterday because I was dying. So Meghan grabbing someone's wheelchair without their permission and adjusting them for a photo. The woman is so startled because she's mid conversation and Meghan swoops up behind her. The woman is so startled, she stops talking and is like, what's going on? I feel like that's common sense, Maureen. Like that wheelchair, that would be like me grabbing your arm and dragging you. That wheelchair is a part of this person's body, she is invading their space. I mean, I could go on and on about personal boundaries. I couldn't believe this when I saw it.
Oh, yeah. For Meghan Markle, it's like moving a piece of furniture. Oh, it's in the way. You're ruining the line of the shot. Like, am I positioned properly with my Ozempic body and like my sleeveless top in like sub-zero temperatures here in North America? Okay. I mean, it really goes to it's little things like that. I mean, and that's not a little thing. That is terrible. But when you add these things up, it's just all proof of the level of what I see as malignant narcissism. Like, what does it cost Meghan Markle to bend over and talk to this woman face to face and say, "Do you mind? I'm sorry to interrupt if we move over here. Not if I move you, if we move over here. Would
Yeah.
you like my help or do you want to do it on your own?" I mean, this is it's peak Meghan Markle. Peak
it's
Meghan Markle.
it's the worst thing I've ever seen her do, and that is saying a lot. I just thought this is the one time where people like us say we're going to cut you some slack because this is an incredible organization that, by the way, Harry ripped off from the United States, Wounded Warriors, and our warrior games. Like, this is not an original concept. God love you, Prince Harry, but it wasn't an original concept. The template that he uses to this day was erected by the palace. They think, from what vendors they're using to all of the structure was created by experts that worked for Kensington Palace and Buckingham Palace. The the great reputation it has was established associated with the British royal family. But we say around this time every year, around an Invictus Games event, we say, we're going to cut you guys some slack because this is great work. And then you show up and you act like an ass. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
like,
I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly. It's like you see the actual lack of palace experts who understand stagecraft and who understand nonverbal communications and the power of the moving image, such as Harry and Meghan in the back of a golf cart being driven through an underground tunnel, waving to these wounded warriors, those of whom can stand on their feet, are standing in line, several people deep, and they're waving like they are just the royals who are deigning to mess with them. I mean, it's like have a sense of exactly what you're doing and what you're there for. It should not be about a photo op for you, but it really is about that for them. Because again, if Meghan had any sense of proportion, she'd be doing stuff behind the scenes. She'd be letting Harry have the stage. This is his thing. She would be in the supporting role. She wants the attention. She would let it leak out. Meghan was seen talking to the child of so and so and so and so, and wasn't she so sweet? But she can't do it. She
mm-mm.
cannot be without a camera crew at any given moment.
Yeah, you really are seeing this like messiah complex there, which I think is so vulgar, where the content that they are releasing is like people oohing and eyeing over them, or people screaming, trying to touch and claw at Prince Harry. He's not Jesus Christ. This is the same man that did drugs at Courtney Cox's house and spoke to her trash can, fluidly. Um, I think that that is one of the things that has really made me uncomfortable this Invictus Games. This is the first winter Invictus Games. That should be what we're talking about, how exciting it is. But instead, we're talking about how gross it appears that the way that they are trying to position themselves. Prince Harry should be trying to talk to him one on one. Like, man, I've seen combat too. I'm so impressed with what you've done. Thank you for your service. But he's talking down to these people, and it feels like, and we talk about this a lot, another marketing exercise by the Sussexes. We need the glossy photos. We need the PDA because Vanity Fair said, I'm shopping a divorce book. We need the
Mhm.
great video because we're going to use this in our marketing materials for the next 12 months. That's all that this looks like to me. And that's gross.
Yeah, and Meghan needs the dopamine hit because she got smacked down for doing her disaster tourism after the LA wildfires. Her Netflix show has been put on pause. Will it debut on March 4th? I don't know. I don't know that Netflix doesn't use this as an excuse to delay, 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 and then finally just cancel it.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that we're seeing this sense of increasing desperation, and it's no accident, I think, that Harry and Meghan are valorizing themselves on the backs of these wounded warriors who really they should be using their platform to promote their stories and their needs. It's not
Yes.
the other way around. But Kate is now taking this well-earned victory lap and using her experience with coming out the other end of her cancer diagnosis and treatment to bring attention to those who are still undergoing chemotherapy, to engage again with her early childhood development campaign. These are things that people really, truly appreciate about Kate because it's genuine and it's authentic. Did you see that little clip, or did you send that to me of Kate like getting out of that SUV and running to
Talking to
say
the
hi
little
to the
girl.
child
Yes,
who had
yes,
been waiting for hours for her? I
yes.
mean, that was a very sweet, sweet moment, and it was you could tell it was genuine.
Absolutely. Well, you mentioned earlier this lack of palace etiquette, and this you could just tell that um, Harry and Meghan are real green, mostly Meghan, but just really green. And Tom Quinn has that new book coming out. It's called Yes, Ma'am: The Secret Life of Royal Servants by Tom Quinn. I know I sent you a very long list of highlights from what I've read so far. But did you have anything that stood out to you specifically? For me, it was the idea that Meghan was flirting with Prince William because I was like, first of all, I've heard it before. And second of all, I was like, oh, that explains all the things. That explains everything.
Amazing. Well, you sent me that list and then I went straight to the source and read
Yeah.
that entire extract because the book isn't out till the 25th. And it had such great nuggets in there. And the William stuff was very interesting. I mean, I thought that the author took pains to sort of be almost overly kind to Meghan in a lot
Yes.
of the retellings.
Hmm.
And that seemed a little suspect to me. I
Well,
don't
here's the disclaimer I gave when I've been talking about it. He clearly says, I spoke to this person that was close to Meghan Markle. So I've said some of this is going to be true and some of this is going to be a person with an agenda because Quinn is open about saying, well, yeah, this person was close to Meghan Markle. Well, just for the record, I don't trust that person. That person
I
is
actually think that person is Meghan Markle because who is close to Meghan Markle anymore? Who?
Harry.
Nobody. She is the Royals version of Taylor Swift. Like it's all tracking up. I think that what struck me a lot was the difference. You're right about the William thing. You're absolutely right. I think she got one look behind the curtain. She understood who's the winner in that family. There were two really psychologically fascinating insights to me, one of which was Harry was a pretty happy-go-lucky guy, content with his lot in life until Meghan came along and started ginning up. You're the spare. You get the bottom half of everything. You're the bottom feeder. They don't really care about you. And the idea really actually being that once she got in, she saw that she was going to be the spare.
Yes.
Kate is the future queen. So she's the spare. And the second one being just how tactically smart and emotionally intelligent Kate Middleton is.
Yeah.
That when she got in and was sort of on the track inside Buckingham Palace, she stood back, she kept her own counsel, she took the measure of everybody, she waited to see how things would play out and dynamics would develop, knowing she was in for a very long game. And Meghan came in like the proverbial bull in the china shop and was
Pushing
like,
wheelchairs.
pushing people around. I don't like how this goes. I want to change things, blah, blah, blah. And if she had a modicum of real intelligence, she would have worked on developing a relationship with Kate, which would, of course, taken a long time. But what Kate could have given her would have been invaluable, which
Mm.
would have been institutional knowledge of what it's like to come in as an outside woman. And Kate could have said to her, this is how it was for me, and this is how I dealt with it, and maybe this could help you. But Meghan couldn't handle any of that. Her ego was way too fragile for it.
Doesn't that amaze you though? Because she's supposed to be an actress. You're supposed to read the room, and she did not do that. But I want to ask you, maybe this is above our pay grade, but what you just described to me about Meghan and the way she was communicating with Harry and I imagine that there was some insecurity that probably existed there, but really gasoline on this open flame of insecurity. Meghan going, well, why is our house smaller than that one? How come we're not getting that? Is that emotional abuse when you are purposely creating a division between multiple family members because you want to be? And I'm not, maybe that wasn't her objective, but to me, listening to you describe that, I'm seeing that this is a woman that wanted to be his escape, wanted to be, she wanted him to think, I've come to rescue you, I'm going to fix it all. And in doing so, she alienated him from his family. Like it feels like a form of emotional abuse. So now all he has is her, and he's stuck in a foreign country. He's stuck.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're really onto something. A partner who tries and succeeds in isolating their spouse from their family of origin is a very, I think, dangerous individual. I don't know why, again, Kate always sought to sort of mend fences. Historically, we know, when William and Harry were having a very fractious time with Charles over Camilla, his decision to marry her, Kate wasn't as you said, putting fuel on the fire. She was trying to sort of tamp it down and make things better because that's what an emotionally healthy person does. They want their spouse to be happy. They want them to have a decent relationship with their only surviving parent or their only living sibling, the only other person who truly understands what it was like to be raised in that fishbowl. And, Meghan, aside from her own mother, is estranged from the rest of her family of origin. Her friends seem to have peeled away or been dumped, discarded whenever they've become like a problem for her. Who does this? Who behaves this way? And now, it's really like be careful what you wish for. She wanted Harry all to herself. She's got him. He's her problem now. He's her dead weight. And that's why the Vanity Fair story hit so hard. The idea that this viper, in my opinion, a viper, was shopping around, seemingly behind her husband's back, a post-divorce memoir, and wanting to know what she could get on the open market for it. You don't get much more cold-blooded than that.
No, but why was I not surprised when I read that part of the Vanity Fair story? Uh, Another interesting conversation in the Tom Quinn book is this idea that because Meghan didn't grow up with a lot of material things, she's obsessed with material things. I see that in all of the jewelry that she wears. Whenever we see her out, she's wearing thousands and thousands of dollars worth of jewelry while she's talking to you know urban youth it's just what was that place that they were in? I'm so sorry, it was in New York. It was a children's school for like underprivileged kids in New York. And I
Mhm.
think she's wearing a $6,000 outfit, and that's not including jewelry. Why do you think that that's an appropriate way to dress? Why do you think that that's an appropriate way to present yourself when you are trying to convince us that you're the second coming of Mother Teresa or Princess Diana, whatever, just pick one, whatever day it is. But it seems like she flaunts so much to the point that as a girl, I feel like it's insecurity.
Yeah, it's insecurity. My favorite is when she wears her $995 Max Mara winter coat in the springtime in the streets of Montecito. So we can all see she has one. It's to me, it's almost the equivalent of, when you see women who are intervening with their faces too much, like their filler is just exaggerating their facial feature and they don't know when to stop. And it's like you're wearing your sort of self-loathing on you're telling everybody I don't like myself and I have a problem with myself that I'm never going to fix and it's manifesting on my face.
Yeah.
The same when I see Meghan Markle wearing her, $20,000 Cartier tank watch when she's interacting again with like underprivileged youth or something. It's like, again, it's like read the room. I also do not buy this sob story that Meghan loves to tell, that she grew up without material things. She would come home, this little latchkey kid, having her
I mean, the,
salad
the
meal
four,
on her
four,
tray
nine,
table,
4.99 salad bar at Sizzler. That's what she took
watching
for dinners
TV. I
with.
don't buy it. Her father is an Emmy-winning lighting director. He has worked in the industry forever. He put her through private schools. He put her through Northwestern, a very expensive American university,
Yep.
so she can F off. I think her problem is characterological. I think she's a greedy, unhappy, sour bitch. And nothing will make her feel the way she wants to be seen. She wants people to admire her. She wants people to think she's important. It's not happening. And so this is why the vulgar displays of wealth. She tries to act like they're stealth wealth displays, but
Yeah.
they're not. And we
Right.
all see it.
You're right. The way that they described Gwyneth Paltrow during her court case. What was that casual? I don't remember, but that is what she's definitely trying to do. And I think that's why everything's beige and everything's brown or white. aside from the white supposedly like the reflection of angelic and sweet and innocent, which is what somebody that saw some of her Netflix content said. She's all in white and flowy, and she's definitely trying to come off as pure.
Right, because Kinsey, who doesn't wear white when they cook?
Exactly. But so the person that saw this, that wrote for the Daily Mail, said it's less about cooking. She is in the kitchen having fun, but she never is like, you need 2 cups of. It's all about hosting and friendship and how to be a good friend. And I'm like, wait, stop the presses. Because you said to me less than 5 minutes ago, similar to Taylor Swift, Meghan Markle has transactional friendships, transactional relationships. And once you are no longer of use to her, she asked Jessica Mulroney, who was, right there next to her on her wedding day. She takes that match and she burns that bridge. But also, what a crappy concept for a show. Hosting. I've never heard about Meghan Markle throwing a party. I've heard of Meghan Markle crashing plenty of parties.
Mm-hmm. Again, first of all, hosting, like the art of being a great host is you are thinking about your guests, right? So it's not about you, but she doesn't have that ability. Remember we were talking about like the gifts she was putting together for people and she was like, I'm just assembling all of my favorite things. And it's like, no, like your gift should be attuned to the person, what they like, what's their favorite stuff. It's not about you. Secondly, we've all heard Meghan Markle speak, and she's got one speed, and it's whining. I am a victim. She is not a great conversationalist. There is nothing this woman has to say that could intrigue me for 30 seconds. What is the conversation like on this show? I mean, Kinsey, really, like, do you have any idea what this could possibly contain?
Nothing that I think you and I are capable of sitting through, although we are going to be forced to do that. Can I ask you, does it surprise you that in her video where she's clout chasing, name dropping Billie Eilish and Adam Levine and his wife?
Oh, that video.
Does it surprise you that neither Billie Eilish or Adam Levine, like no one acknowledged it? If surely her objective was for Adam to be like, you're so welcome. Like, why are you name dropping these celebrities? Like, to me, every time I do something good, I try to name drop at least 30 people in the self-filmed video that I distribute out to the world.
Okay, I'd like to take this video apart for a moment.
I love it.
It is disgusting. So there's Meghan, again, wearing probably an $800 gray cashmere sweater. LA is burned to the ground, okay? Burned to the ground. She's wearing this. Her hair is a little bit flyaway, but just so. And she begins by taking an intake of breath and putting her hand to her forehead. Like, she just can't believe this thing is happening, even though the other hand has the iPhone way up high, getting the best shot from above of Meghan, okay? So now she's talking to us as this is just landed. This thing has just landed, although it is arranged, again, perfectly so that we can see it piled up so neatly. Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish sent this over. I was talking to a young girl. Okay, she was talking to a young girl who was a Billie Eilish fan who lost everything.
Everything.
Everything. Her family lost everything. Meghan Markle has to get in the middle of this and let us know that she reached out, I think, to Billie Eilish's people, or somebody reached out, and Billie Eilish, goodness of her heart, sends all this merch. She signs it for the girl. She's probably going to have the girl at a show, but we don't know because Billie Eilish doesn't do this stuff. And
Yeah.
this is why people like Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
And Meghan's like, look at me. I got all of this stuff for her. And she's just not going to believe it. Now, also, wouldn't you think for a moment that people, especially when they've lost everything that they've worked very hard for, the only thing they have left is their pride and their dignity. So why don't you respect that and move this merch very quietly over to this young girl and just let her be happy with it and decide if she wants to post that stuff to social media instead of you disgusting creature who will exploit anything and anyone as long as it makes you look good, you think.
Yeah. And the tag out is like, I'm going to go email her mom and tell her I got it. You're telling us before you tell her freaking mom? This is all for show. But I did think it was telling because she does kind of give us a bit of an explanation. She said she found friends, sent a voice note out on her phone and found friends. I'm assuming the friend is Adam Levine and his wife that contacted Billie Eilish's team. Billie Eilish's team, I wish, would have just sent it directly to the girl because Meghan being the middleman ruined the entire. I wish I could be like, oh, that's so sweet. But the display that she had to put on and name drop all of those people, super gross. Thank you for being so gracious with your time. If I could just ask you to explain the last piece I saw from you, I thought it was really good about how Taylor Swift has clearly dropped Blake Lively. She wasn't at the game with her over the weekend. You talk about transactional relationships, and I did think it reminded me of Meghan, and that's why I wanted you to kind of explain that a little bit.
Oh, I'm happy to. I mean, I almost never watch the Super Bowl, and I watched last night for multiple reasons because it really is really reflecting the culture and American politics so sharply. Taylor was booed last night
Yeah.
heavily. That's never happened before. Donald Trump was also there, and he was heartily cheered. Taylor made it very clear on Friday. She sent out basically a press release saying Blake's not coming to the
Yeah.
Super Bowl this year. We're not going to be all over each other, practically making out in our box this year, okay? Unlike last year. The night before, there was another statement from Team Taylor that basically said Taylor is really upset with this lawsuit that Blake has going, and she wants nothing to do with this or with this trial. She feels used. Taylor Swift, again, tracking very closely with Meghan Markle. Now, Taylor Swift, who at 35 is a self-made billionaire, is a victim. She's been used by these other two users who are
Yeah.
all using each other. But one of my favorite details about the Taylor Blake relationship, Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, who I find equally disgustingly phony, affected, and insufferable, and desperate to be liked, which is always just one of the worst qualities anyone could have. I will not like you. You want to be liked that much? I'm not going to like you. Um, they have four children. Taylor is godmother to at least three. I don't know anybody who gives their kid the same godparents over and over and over. It's really ridiculous. So that I find a fascinating insight into how that dealing, self-dealing, double dealing works. But we all know now that Taylor had a hand in It Ends With Us. She was giving Blake apparently notes on the script. Apparently, she had a hand in casting the younger version of Blake's character. Apparently, she allowed one of her songs to be used in the movie. And somehow she wound up sitting in a meeting at Blake and Ryan's Tribeca Loft where they were giving Justin Baldoni, who Blake Lively sued and is countersuing her per his lawyer into oblivion, a spanking.
Yeah.
Why is Taylor Swift sitting there? And if she's so savvy and she says she had no idea, she just walked into it and there it was happening. Taylor Swift is savvy enough to say, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Text me when you're done. I
Yeah.
don't want anything to do with this. So she's into this, I think, neck deep. And instead of keeping her now enemy closer, I think she's making a real tactical error in dumping Blake. It's not going to go the way it's gone other times before when Carly Kloss was tossed on the friendship funeral pyre. I think this is bad. I love it that the Chiefs lost. I love it that Taylor and Travis are finally on the downward slope. America is sick to death of these two.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Oh, so that's interesting though that you say that you think that it's not going to be in her best interest. Is that because you do think she's going to have to end up testifying if they don't settle if they don't settle this lawsuit? Do you think that she's just going to be it'll be, I think, publicly nasty if Taylor has to testify?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The last thing Taylor Swift wants is a deposition in which her involvement and her throwing around her weight in a movie. Like, first of all, why are they consulting with Taylor Swift? What does she know about making movies? You
Yeah.
want to talk about how to like mount a tour, like a record-breaking tour? Sure, she's your go-to person. Making a B movie about domestic violence when you've got this inane idiot friend who's like blowing the budget on her wardrobe and like doing a press tour where she's like, it's all about florals. and buy my booze. And did you know I have a hair care? It's a movie about domestic violence. I just love this for all of them. I think karma always comes around, and I think this is going to be a very, very bad outcome for the both of them.
Well, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend.